Hello, I'm Lorianne Lumpy with Authentic Freedom Academy, and this is our Friday spiritual gathering, weekly spiritual gathering. And today is Friday, September 11th. And with that, the first thing that comes to my mind is just a remembrance of that event and a remembrance of the trauma that our nation experienced on that morning and the lives that were lost. The rescuers and those that helped to get people out of the building. The way that our nation on some level came together after 9/11, and the trauma that continues in this country, as I think we really still have not healed from 9/11, and I don't know if we ever will. I think there was an innocence lost. It's a tragedy that the United States has been immune to. Never has there been an attack in the continental United States. And I think we're still reeling from that. So I just want to take a moment in silence in remembrance of that event, of those that lost their lives, those that lost loved ones, and those that are still suffering because of that experience. Thank you. And that brings us to where we are today in this strange world that we are living in, and the very strange environment of simultaneously witnessing the death of the old world and the germination of the new world. Standing at that threshold between what we've known and what we definitely don't yet know. And as I've mentioned in this community many times before, I'm not an astrologer, and I'm not even, don't even know enough about it to get myself in trouble. And it seems as if the planets, the universe, are supporting us in some strange way as we're moving through this transition, through this evolution of our human species. And I want to start that by addressing a little bit of what I found myself moving through in the last couple weeks. And I share this because I know that I'm not the only one that had these experiences, or and I'm not the only one that found themselves in a, I guess I'll say, similar state of awareness. And I don't know how to say what caused it or why it came forth. But one thing I know is that in the last couple weeks, the energies have been very chaotic, disruptive, uncomfortable. For myself and others with whom I've spoken, there's been a lot of fatigue, like to the bone fatigue. There's been a lot of anxiety. I know my anxiety, if that's what I can call it, was so high at the end of last week that my body was actually trembling. And I had nothing to be anxious about. Like there was nothing going on in my world, in Lori Lumby's little life, that was causing me anxiety. I didn't have any personal fears or concerns that would have caused my body to tremble. And yet that's what was happening. I felt panicked. I felt like an animal caught and needing to run. But I had no idea what, on some level, I felt I was running from until it hit me. And again, I'm only sharing this because I spoke to several other people that had a very similar experience. Because we are not here for Lori Lumby's journey. We are here for all of us finding our way through this shitstorm that is our life right now. And what hit me was an awareness, a fear, a terror that Donald Trump would win the election in November. And it scared the crap out of me. And I don't like to be political, too political in this circle. And I'm not married to that being some sort of doomsday prophecy or even a prediction of what is to come. But what I can say is I believe it was an energy that was needing to be processed at that time and in that space. As I reached out to several others that I'm close with, and they all had come to the same revelation at the exact same moment with very similar responses. In that, I felt not only terror, but a profound grief, and also complete disgust with humanity. Like, seriously, if this happens, I've lost all faith in the human race. At least those were my thoughts in the moment. So I had to sit with that. And the first sitting was 3 or 4 days of trauma, panic, fear, trembling, doom, sorrow. That moved into grief and the weight of deep sadness. Deep sadness for our world. And beyond even names and offices, a deep sorrow for just the death that we're all facing right now. And the collective grief that we're processing that so many don't even know we're processing. In fact, the vast majority doesn't know that we're processing the death of a world that we've known. As I was sitting with that sorrow, I guess that brought me to my yoga practice on Sunday. And in and through my yoga practice, I came to the other side of that sorrow, and strangely to a bizarre acceptance. Okay, so what happens if Donald Trump wins the election? Can I live with that? What does my life look like if that's the outcome? And I came to a place of, okay, it won't kill me, but if that's the outcome, I'm going underground. Then, as the universe would have it, as synchronicity would have it, as universe intention would have it, I stopped at my normal coffee shop on my way home from yoga, ran into a dear, dear friend, and we have one of those relationships where we just run into each other once every 6 months and end up having a world-changing conversation. And we sat down for coffee and talked about this very subject. And she said, here's a way to look at it. If Donald Trump is reelected, all this collapse that we've been waiting for, longing for, yearning for, anticipating, is going to happen very quickly. If Joe Biden wins, then everything slows down. If the collapse is imminent and quick and hasty, then we can get on with building the world that we came here to build. And I was like, okay, I can get behind that. Doesn't mean I'm going to vote for Donald Trump. Doesn't mean I'm going to wish for it. But I understand. Then I came to, well, let's see, what day is today? Today's Friday. So this has been something that has been slowly unfolding over the course of the week. And it brings me back to my own threat that Donald Trump is reelected, I'm going underground. And it hit me. What the hell am I waiting for? And what does going underground mean to me? And it struck me that this is what we've been trying to do all along, is build our new world. And the question is, what the hell are we waiting for? Why are we waiting for an election outcome to start building the world that we want to live in? Why are we waiting for the conflict in our country, in our world, to stop in order for us to build our new world? Why are we waiting for COVID-19 to be over? What are we waiting for? And the truth is, we shouldn't be waiting for anything. Now is the time. There's literally no reason that we can't start building our new world right here, right now. And I have a little poem that I know I've mentioned here before that I want to share that speaks to this. And then I'm going to paint us a picture of hope. This poem is called Tobar Padraig, and it is by Irish poet David Whyte. Turn sideways into the light, as they say the old ones did, and disappear into the originality of it all. Be impatient with easy explanations and teach that part of the mind that wants to know everything not to begin questions it cannot answer. Walk the green road above the bay and the low glistening fields toward the evening sun. Let that Atlantic gleam be ahead of you and the gray light of the bay below you, until you catch, down on your left, the break in the wall. For just above in the shadows, you'll find it hidden. A curved arm of rock holding the water close to the mountain. A just lit surface smoothing a scattering of coins. And in the niche above, notes to the dead and supplications for those who still live. But for now, you are alone with the transfiguration and ask no healing for your own, but look down as if looking through time. As if through a rent veil from the other side of the question you've refused to ask. And you remember now that clear stream of generosity from which you drank. How as a child, your arms could rise and your palms turn out to touch the blessing of the world. Turn sideways into the light, as they say the old ones did, and disappear into the originality of it all. This is what we've been waiting for. The opportunity to craft our own existence. Our own existence from the deep, authentic originality of our soul. To carve a life that is of our own making on our own terms, independent of the conditioning and the expectations and the marketing machine and the advertising demon. To carve a life that is our own. And to do so in the world as it currently is. Because we are not going to escape this world, but we can choose to live within it differently. This is how we turn sideways into the light. Turning away from a world rooted in fear, power, control, oppression. Rejecting the rules and the conditions that are made in fear. And instead looking deep into our heart, deep into our soul, deep into our originality. And ask the questions, What's life giving to me? What is it that feeds my soul? How do I want to spend the minutes, the hours, the days that this life is giving me? How do I want to spend that time, and with whom? Where do I want to spend that time? In what way do I want to spend that time? We live in a world that has conditioned us to be violent, harsh, aggressive, divisive, hateful, jealous, covetous, gluttonous. But is that our originality? Is that who we are authentically? When we turn sideways into the light, we choose how we live our life, where, how, and with whom. And we're not waiting for some magical time where, oh, poof, now I'm free to do this. I'm free to do what I want. We're not waiting for some cataclysmic time to say, okay, that's gone now, so I can finally choose what I want. Why are we waiting? We have an opportunity each and every day to choose it now. And it's a personal, individual choice. It can also be a communal choice, a familial choice, and a collective choice, depending on how we want to live out our own authenticity, our own originality. And this is our invitation. Regardless of what may or may not happen November 2nd, 3rd, 4th, whatever election day is, regardless of what happens tomorrow, tonight, or even an hour from now, we have the freedom and the opportunity to choose the world that we want to live in. And this is our invitation right here and right now. And with that, I want to seal this intention with this poem by Mary Oliver. In Blackwater Woods. Look, the trees are turning their own bodies into pillars of light, are giving off the rich fragrance of cinnamon and fulfillment. The long tapers of cattails are bursting and floating away over the blue shoulders of the ponds. And every pond, no matter what its name is nameless now. Every year, everything I have ever learned in my lifetime leads back to this. the fires and the black river of loss, whose other side is salvation, whose meaning none of us will ever know. To live in this world, you must be able to do three things: to love what is mortal, to hold it against your bones, knowing your own life depends on it. And when the time comes to let it go, to let it go.